All right, so what was your question?
What I was wondering is, I'm trying to rebrand myself, right? I think everybody in the community is just more of like Mike's a TC, right? But then a lot of people already know too. It's like, oh, Mike knows how to do a lot of, yeah. But the one thing that I always constantly run into is the whole thing of like, oh, you're a TC. I need you to go talk to my seller and I need you to explain X, Y, and Z. My big thing right now, and I'm in top tier TC too. So anytime I talk to people, when I was doing Zooms for a bit, I was letting people know that's not your job. The whole thing in my head is if you need to explain what a SubTo deal is, they didn't close the seller. What you need to do is get a JV deal in place and get paid more.
Agreed.
So
this is why when we put the top tier TC training out, I told Molly to do it that way. Is I agree, because I watch so many people abuse their TCs because my TCs actually will do that for me. They don't explain it for me. They just like take all the other things off my plate, but they're also full-time salary, right? So they're not just a TC. They're like operator. They're doing all sorts of things. They own businesses with me. Like, you will get abused, and you teaching that on the Zooms, like, you're 100% right. You're getting abused if you're having to do their gosh dang job.
Yeah, what is it like? So I have a lot of these conversations, and a lot of the clients that come, they get really thrown off because I'm not going to do it for free.
Yeah.
And I've had situations where, there was a deal in California, same thing. Like, I was like, can you try and close, or can you explain how the transaction? I was like, no. I was like, I can do the work for you as a TC.
I mean, I imagine you're probably saying, yes, I can do that, but what you're asking me to do is above and beyond what you originally came to me for. So I'll be your TC, that's one fee, but then there's another part to this, which you're basically asking me to joint venture with you, so that's a separate agreement. I'm happy to do both, but I'm not going to get paid to do one and then do both. That's what you're basically saying.
I shut a lot of people down because I throw out there what you're asking me to do isn't something that a TC is supposed to be doing.
Nor most of them are even capable of. Like closing and getting this out. Like, some TCs are just really good at the administrative part of things, like getting it all the way through close of escrow. Other people like you're more of a transaction, like, you're not a coordinator, you're a transaction engineer, right? Like, you're basically saying, I will help you engineer the transaction, I'll help you structure the transaction, I'll help you do all those things, and then I'll coordinate it. But those are two different fees. So I would call it like transaction engineer. Like, let me help you engineer the front end of it. I'll help you structure, explain, whatever. But in that situation, I'm your partner, right? So a rebranding in my mind would be something like, I'll be a transaction engineer, but I'm not going to be your transaction coordinator until your transaction has been engineered.
Is there another label that like people already know where it would fall under? Because the thing is,
a closer.
A closer?
Yeah.
That's
essentially what you're doing, right? Are you not? Let me explain it. Let me get them comfortable. Let me do all that. You're basically closing the deal that they didn't close.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if the seller's not saying, send me the contract, I'm ready to sign, then anything before that is closing the deal.
Yeah.
Right? Even you guys walking away on a transaction where the seller says, okay, fine, send me the contract. That was a closing activity, not a transaction coordinator activity, as you already know, right? Like, I'm not saying anything you don't already know. You're closing the deal. You're the quarterback.
So, I mean, since I do, and this is how I kind of look at it, right?
Ooh, actually, here's what I would say is, like, the offensive coordinator of a football team is basically a point coordinator, right? He's like the offensive coordinator. I'm making sure that the deal you're doing, the transaction we're doing, is being coordinated. So the transaction coordinator. The offensive coordinator, the coach can't come over to the offensive coordinator and go, hey, I need you to go out there and throw the touchdown pass. That's not his job, right? So you could call it like I'm a transaction quarterback. Like, if you want me to throw the pass and make sure it gets into the end zone, I'll be your quarterback and your transaction coordinator. Well, those are two different jobs. Like, you could call it anything you want. Quarterback, I actually like that analogy. Here's another thing. When you're branding yourself, you don't want to always brand it based on something that already exists. You want to brand it on something that people are like, oh, damn, that's unique. Like, if I call it a closer, everybody knows what a closer is, but then they also have preconceived notions around what a closer is. So they come into it going, okay, so you're going to call my people, you're going to follow up with them. You're like, no. I'll get it to the final end zone for you, but you got to get it to the 1 yard line. Okay, well, maybe you're the quarterback. Maybe you're the running back. Maybe you're the offensive end. Maybe you're whatever. Like, think about it from a football perspective. And call it that. And then rebrand it as if nobody's ever called it that, but it also makes sense. It's kind of like Gator. When I came up with Gator, it's basically doing private money lending. There's 10 different strategies in Gator, but I was like, I don't want to call it private money lending. I'm going to call it Gator because you're taking a chunk of other people's deals. I didn't call it private money lending. That's boring. Don't call it necessarily what everybody else is doing. Come up with a unique name that people, oh shit, that makes sense. I'm the offensive coordinator. I'm the transaction quarterback. I'm the, whatever you want to call it. I'm the running back of the transact, whatever. Think about it in terms of things people already understand, like an alligator. That was easy for me. Taking a chunk, right? Gator. Football. You go, hey, as long as you're down to the 1 yard line and you just need somebody, to be your running back, I'm happy to be your running back, but you're asking me to be the running back and the offensive coordinator. So which one do you want me to be? Oh, both. Cool. Those are 2 separate contracts. You agree that the running back has its own contract with the team and the offensive coordinator also has their own transaction, agreement with the team. I would call it something like a running back. Like, I'm the deal running back. I'm the deal coordinator or deal quarterback or whatever you want to call it. Call it something unique.
How would you go about trying to rebrand yourself though?
You slowly talk about it. Okay, so like look at the Maddie situation. I bring up Maddie over and over. You got to be very careful. I have to be very careful because if I talk about Maddie too much, guess what I become? The homeless guy. Like, whatever you talk about, whatever you focus on will expand in not only your mind, but also in everybody else's mind. Before you met me, I was known as the assisted living guy here, local.
I remember you talked about that.
I was the mobile home guy for a long time. Like, people are like, oh, Pace is the mobile home guy. He buys like $20,000 mobile homes and flips the crap out of those things. And then when I got really obsessed with creative finance back in like 2014, I became the creative finance guy like here locally. Then I started going on tour and I became known as that guy. I was like, oh, this is really fun. This is my favorite part of the business. And I just kept hammering home on it. And I realized in that moment, I was like, oh, this is big enough that I could build a whole entire nationwide network of people doing and exchanging deals with each other because creative finance is so diverse. So I kept branding, and then I wanted to become the community guy. Like, let me help everybody do deals with each other. Like, you guys are the perfect definition of what my vision was 3 brothers from completely different walks of life, different nationalities, different everything, all collaborating and doing deals with each other in different parts of the country. That was my vision. So one thing led to another, which led to another, but whatever you talk about, people will remember, right? How did you brand yourself as a transaction coordinator, Michael Kim?
I think people just labeled me that because of what I was doing.
There you go, but you were talking about it, right? Letting people know that's what you did for a living. People didn't just go, oh, hey, that tattoo means you're a transaction coordinator, right? Like, you obviously had to tell people. So I would be telling people like, hey, I do 2 unique things, or I do 2 things. One's unique, one's normal. I'll be your transaction coordinator, but also a lot of people come to me because I'm the running back. Like, here's what's great about that. They're going to be caught off guard. Like, oh, what? Running back? Well, you know how a lot of people get their transaction all the way down to like the 5-yard line and they just can't seem to get it into the end zone? I'm the guy that gets it in the end zone. So they JV with me on that part. And then I'm also the offensive coordinator, which you would call a transaction coordinator. People go, oh. How many people don't understand football? Like 1% of the population? Everybody already understands those terms, but you're taking those terms and attaching it to yourself. Like, within 6 months, everybody's going to be like, oh, Michael Kim, he's a freaking running back. Like, if you need him, he'll push it into the end zone the last 5 yards. That's the brand that will pay you more money.
I need to find a unique way of
I just gave it to you.
The running back.
You know how many times I just give people their brand? I'm like, here are Bash Brothers. Like, I could go on and on and on, like hundreds of people in the community. I'm like, this is your brand, go run with it. Running back's good, or just look at all the positions with the football team. Everybody understands football, whether you like football or you don't like football. Maybe you like basketball. Maybe you're like the power forward, right? Like, I drive it to the hoop. I'm not the center. Centers, Basketball's not as good as an analogy as football, because basketball has way more coaches on the sideline for, like, I'm the defensive coach, I'm the special teams coordinator, I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm the this, I'm the that. They have so many more, like, coaches on the sidelines that you can use as transaction coordinator. In basketball, it's like, well, the coach is the transaction coordinator. It's like, no. Well, there's an offense guy and there's a defense guy. I think football is the right analogy, even if it's not your favorite sport. Why do I tell stories like my F-150? Because everybody knows what an F-150 is, right? And when I tell stories and analogies, my favorite analogy I ever did was an elementary school teacher, and she's like, "How make this make sense to me?" And I said, "Okay, creative finance." She was confused by creative finance. What is creative finance? Because it's like, is it seller finance? Is it SubTo? Is it this? Is it that? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, creative finance is like a box of crayons. Is it complete if you only had black? She goes, no, that's not a box of crayons. That's one crayon. I go, okay. So that's like traditional real estate. I can draw you a picture. I can make it make sense, but it becomes a lot more vibrant and beautiful when you start adding these other elements, like SubTo is blue and seller finance is red and a hybrid is yellow and a this is that. And so we use those colors when it's appropriate. And she goes, okay, well, why are some people doing more Morby methods than you're doing Morby methods? I go, because some people like other colors more than I like them. I like SubTo and seller finance. And Morby method, I've done 100 of them, but there's people that's all they do because purple is their favorite color. And that's how they show up. They show up to the living room and they're going to use the color purple because that's their favorite shit. She's like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. I go, do you have kids that just favor a certain color, and then a kid across the table drawing the same exact painting is favoring a different color? She goes, yes. And I go, are they doing it wrong? She goes, no. Okay, there you go. So you have to adapt your branding to something that's already easy to understand to whoever your audience is. Football, religion are like, if you made an analogy about religion, everybody would understand it. The problem is it would alienate people. So you probably should not do that. Football is like a neutral topic. I'm the running back. Plus, it's really good thought process. What is everybody doing? They're working really hard. They catch the football. They run. They get yards, but they can't get it into the end zone. And so they don't win any games. So you can say to people like, hey, are you sick and tired of just running up and down the field, but you can't score a touchdown? Put this running back on your team. I'll help you score touchdowns, but I'm going to be the highest paid person on your team. Right? Because think about it. Like, do you want to pay a guy that's just getting a ton of yards, but not quarter or touchdowns? Or do you want to pay the guy that's like, I don't need tons of yardage. I need 3 yards, but I can push it into the end zone. Which one would pay more money? The guy with the touchdowns. The touchdown is the guy who can obtain the contract. So the running back analogy is phenomenal.
Makes sense.
But Michael, I did so much work. No, the seller's almost ready. Cool. Almost ready is not in the end zone. That's on the 1 yard line. You tell me when you're ready for it to be in the end zone. Happy to be there as your offensive coordinator and grab the ball, make sure the points are on the board, and I'll coordinate it, make sure everybody's aware of the deal. But if you keep finding yourself the 2 yard line, the 3 yard line, the 4 yard line, and you just need that final push, that's a completely different agreement. Because what the analogy also does is it highlights that they failed at their job. Because what's happening is, think about, oh, this is so good. If you don't steal this, I'm stealing this for myself. This is good. Because think about what they're doing. When they come to you and they're taken back, oh, wait, what? You don't do that? What do you mean? You're the quarterback of your team guy, not you, but the person that's hiring. You have not gotten it into the end zone where I then pick up the ball, put the points on the board. That's my job. And I make sure everybody in the stadium is aware that you scored the points. I'm the coordinator. I make sure that stuff all happens. However, you seem to continually get down to the 5 yard line and then want to pass it to me. I'm okay playing that role. I just got to get off the sidelines where I'm being paid to be the offensive coordinator, step in as your running back temporarily, get it into the end zone, then I walk back off the field and I play a completely different role. You're highlighting to them that they have failed to do their job, when in the beginning, when they first talk to you about it, they're surprised and they think, oh, well, you're not going to do your job? It's like, yeah, I'm happy to do my job when you do yours, right? So the analogy is really good. Hey, Michael, so I've got this thing. I've got this deal. It's really, really good. I'm right there. The seller just needs like a final blah, blah, blah. Do you mind calling the seller, explaining the transaction, walking through the paperwork with them, explaining the if, ands, or buts, the disclosures, and like what they should be aware of, whatever the thing they're asking you about, right? The seller's so close. Can you call them and push them through? Absolutely. So it sounds like, tell me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure I give you exactly what you need. Sounds like you've gotten the ball down to the 1 yard line and you want me to step in as your running back and push that final yard into the end zone so you can score and get that contract. Is that correct? They say, yeah, cool. So that's what I call the running back position. You're going to be doing that a lot more, Mr. Client, when you get really, really good at this business. Right now, I'm really good at that last couple of yards, but it's a completely separate fee. You have not got the ball into the end zone, which is where my job starts as a transaction coordinator. If you need me to get it there, I'm happy to finalize the transaction, or I'm happy to finalize your yardage into the end zone, but it's a separate fee. I call it the running back fee. And I would call it literally that, the running back fee. Make up bro, welcome to life. Make it up. Call it the running back fee.
Okay.
Okay. And then start wearing a shirt that says, something like, need 2 more yards, hire me as your running back, or something along those lines. I'd come up with something better than that. But when you go to meetups, it's like, make it be like on the back of your shirt, say, Kim, running back. And then have your number on there, like 69, whatever that number is.
Okay.
There's your new brand. Like, that pays way more than a transaction coordinator. Now you're double dipping and people also don't have that expectation. On top of it, you would also do a massive service to all the other collective transaction coordinators in the community of letting them know hey, you should be charging a running back fee.
Well, that's what I've already been trying to do. What is it? But then, everyone always tells me put out my story, and I always forget. Like, when you're in the transaction, everything sounds great. Like, this is going to be a great story. But when it comes down to actually doing it, then I completely forget. But what is it? Like the land deal I was telling you about, I was waiting for that to close so I can throw it out to the top tier community.
Interesting. It's interesting that this is where you and I have a different personality type. I will talk about way before I ever close it. When do I close that house with them for Maddie?
When?
August 14th. That's not for 2 more weeks. Can a lot of shit happen on a transaction in the next 2 weeks?
Yes.
You know that better than anybody else. But I also know that if I'm not talking about it in the flow of it happening to me, I won't be as excited about it. I won't be as passionate about it. I won't be able to tell the story from a position that's exciting to the audience. So I will tell the story going, hey, we haven't closed the deal yet, but let me tell you what's going on. Now the audience is listening along. They're listening to the chapters of this book. And finally, there's a payoff when the deal finally does close. What you're doing is waiting for the deal to close. And they're like, okay, so the deal's already closed. There's no buildup. There's no reason for me to stick around. For example, you walk into a movie theater and they go, hey, just so you know, the dies at the end. Are you going to watch the whole movie and be as excited?
You spoiled it.
Okay, so what you're doing when you hold your stories in is you're telling people, hey guys, let me tell you a story that I just closed. Okay, so the dies at the end. I already know the ending. You just told me the ending. Human beings are prehistorically wired to enjoy stories. And what you're doing is you're basically just telling people the ending before you even tell the story. So I made $100,000 on this deal. It was really hard, but let me go back and tell you what happened. Which one is going to be more engaging? Let me tell you about this. Let me tell you about this dead body we found in this house. And it's crazy. This thing happened 2 days. For example, Jerry Norton had this this head he found in the fridge a year and a half ago. You know about this?
Yeah, I don't think I've heard
Oh
that.
my gosh, dude. He does this wholesale deal, okay? He does this wholesale deal. He buys a deal sight unseen. He assigns the deal. Police call him 3 months later. They're like, bro, come down here right now. We're putting handcuffs on you, you freaking murderer. He's like, what are you talking about? We found a head in the house. The buyer was going through and renovating it, and they found the head that you killed of the person and the 2 arms of the people that you killed as well. Jerry's like, I've never been to that city in my life. I did this thing called wholesale. He explains the whole story. They go, holy crap. They go to the previous seller. The seller says, oh yeah, I killed that guy. It was the mailman. I was sick and tired of that guy's. He just flat out admits that. right? Jerry could have stretched that story out 3 or 4 weeks. He could have created a compound effect. What you're doing when you tell a story only when it closes is you're telling people basically, okay, the Maddie story, for example. Here's what I did really well with the Maddie story. I didn't know what was going to happen. The day Eric and I met her, he takes a photo. I put it in the Facebook group. 30,000 people see the photo. And I said, I don't know what's going to happen with this, but follow along the journey. Now, whatever happens, here's the problem with people in the branding side of things, Mr. Kim, is that people are afraid of failure. And it's like, well, if I talk about the deal and it doesn't happen, then my peers are going to be like, oh, dude, why'd you talk about this shit? So just put that caveat up front. Hey guys, I got this insane land deal. You wouldn't believe this guy has $300,000 sitting in escrow. You're not saying the address. You're not saying the city. You're not saying the seller's name. You're not saying the buyer's name, but you're talking about characters and just make one up. Make character names up. The one I use all the time is a guy named Tim. I use the name Tim in like almost every story. So I would tell the story of like, I don't know what's going to happen here. The whole thing could blow up, but here's what's currently going on right now. And now in their mind, there's stakes at play that you are building up over time. And everybody comes up to me and goes, dude, what's going on with Maddie? I need to know. You haven't put an update in the Facebook group in 3 weeks. What's going on with Maddie? Do you think people are ever going to forget me when I tell stories that way?
No, it's actually funny because when I watch Facebook like clips, they'll have a whole story. It's always part 1.
Yeah.
Then right after part 1, I'm going in the thing because I'm looking for part 2.
Of course.
There's no part 2. Then I start searching even deeper, trying to find the ending of the story. But it's like you have to wait. Yeah. So it makes a person come back to your page and constantly check in to see if there's a part 2 or 3.
As the owner of your brand, as the owner of your company, the most important responsibility you have is telling the story of your brand, of your company, right? So what I would be doing is I would sit down and go, all right, I don't know what's going to happen with this land thing, but it does give me a lot of runway to talk about it, even if it fails. In fact, think about this. Wouldn't that suck if you made no money on this deal all the way through and the deal fails, you make no money, and now the story's dead? You wasted all that time, that energy, you got nothing out of it, the deal falls apart. Or you could ensure that you make money on every deal, even when they fail. You tell the story, the triumphs, the funny things. Here's an update. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what's happening right now. The deal falls apart, EMD gets refunded back, you make no money. But did you not make money? You got clientele, you got awareness, you got trust, you got reciprocity. People are like, I love Michael Kim. The way I win is every deal I do, I make money on. Even the ones that fall apart, I make money. Why? Because people want to send deals to me. They want to invest with me. They want to give me $1 million for my debt fund or my this or my that. Because they go, man, I hear Pave's story. I hear what he's up to. I see how he handles transactions. They don't even remember if the deal closed or not. And that's not even the important part of the story. Who gives a shit? Right? And so you got to tell that story, even if the deal is going to fall apart. Hell, when the deal falls apart, it also teaches your clients why they need you even more. Right?
That makes a lot of sense.
That's tough. I'm a natural talker and I love telling stories. I also am obsessed with stories, right? Like the Golden State Warriors, do they not have an incredible story? Like one of the most incredible stories of all time. And Steph Curry, like, are you not interested in these stories yourself? Character development, who came into their life. One of my favorite stories is like, I'll go watch golf and I see all these individual characters. I love golf because golf is an individual sport, but also you see how their personal lives impact how it shows up on the golf course. One guy is on top of his game, gets married, has kids, all of a sudden falls apart, right? Balance comes into his life. And it's interesting to watch how people's personal lives will affect how affect their ability to make money. I love character development. I love watching how a character will go through all of these things. And so what you've really done to me is you've screwed me over on not hearing more of your story. Like, as somebody who enjoys story listening, you've screwed me over. You've robbed your audience. Imagine you're a director of some amazing movie and you just go, well, hey guys, sorry, we thought the movie was going to be better. We're just going to refund your movie tickets because the bitch dies at the end. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't care. Did you ever watch The Sopranos?
I watched some of it, yeah.
Okay, y'all didn't watch The Sopranos, I already know. Because if you did, you would be like, oh, I'll watch that shit. So The Sopranos, one of the most famous shows of all time, ends horribly. Everybody hates the ending. It was the worst ending of all time. The most talked about 9 seasons of the most epic television of all time. And I look at it and I go, that wasn't even important. The ending wasn't important. It was all of the fun time I had over 9 years of enjoying the show. Same thing with Lord of the Rings, or not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. Did anybody watch Game of Thrones? No. And people hated the last couple of seasons. Right. Okay, but that didn't take away the enjoyment I got in season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Khaleesi showing her titties and stuff. Like, did all of a sudden the movie ends with a horrible ending? But did that mean that I didn't get to see Khaleesi's titties in season 3? No, I still saw them. So what you're doing to me is you're saying, hey, the ending didn't work out great, so you can't even see Khaleesi's titties. Bro, show me, I want to see the whole thing. You're robbing me of the story. Now, the different question is, you should be telling the story. So it's more of a, do I have time? When do I do that? How do I do that? Those are really the questions you should be asking, because you should be telling a story every day. Chino's doing a good job of this. Even when he's not telling a story, he's telling a story. Like you don't have to be on camera going da 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 da. He'll be like, hey, I'm at lunch. Hey, I'm at such and such. Hey, I'm in Phoenix. Hey, I'm with the boys. Hey, I'm doing whatever. Right? Those are little micro stories. You're not doing a lot of that either.
No, I'm not. I'm very terrible at it. Even with my kids. I'm like, for my kids, my wife or my lady is she's the videographer. She's capturing the moments. I don't think about it at the time.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I'll tell you the most important part of my day is between 5 and 7 a.m. And it's when I'm posting in the Facebook groups, or I'm making my one post of the day, as I'm sending story out into the ethos. And I'm seeing what happens with that story throughout the day. And then I come back the next morning and I see what happened yesterday. Oh, it didn't do well. Okay, cool. Why didn't it do well? I don't get upset about it. And then I just try and do better the next day, right? That little 2-hour block is by far the most important money-making block of my day. So if you know that to be true, it's like, what would you talk about tomorrow morning? Tomorrow morning, I'd go into the SubTo Facebook group. I'd go into the Top Tier TC Facebook group, and I would make a post, OC, and I'd go, I spent the day with Pace. Here's 15 things I picked up, and only give them 5. And then go, if you want the other 10, send me a message on Facebook. I'll send you a link, right? Getting people to engage with you, and then also testing human nature to be like, kind of like what you did. It's like, here's part 1. You're like, where's part 2, bitch? Like, what are we doing? So I do this all the time. I'll do it on Zoom. I'll go, all right, guys, so the top 3 reasons why blah, 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 and I'll purposely only give 2. And then people go, in the comments, where's number 3? And I'm sitting at my desk going, LOL, bro, I didn't have 3. I had 2 the whole time. I just said I had 3. So you'll get to learn human behavior and what people really want to hear. So I would practice that every day. One thing I learned from Tiger today, one thing I learned from Chino today, one thing build your brothers up too. Because they do the same thing for you. Chino probably does a better job than most. Yeah. Of like, hey, here's who I partner with. These are the people I ride or die with. Blah 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 blah. Right? You come from a California environment where loyalty is more important than anything else.
100%.
And okay, so have you been loyal to your friends and telling their stories or talking about fun things you guys are up to?
I don't do that.
Okay, so we got to amplify that, right? So you already know you got to do it. I would just find the time when nobody else is awake, and I would just go, here's the thing I learned. I would start out by that. Keep it super basic. If you just want basic story every day, just go, here, what's the one thing I learned yesterday that I can share with the group? Because it removes imposter syndrome. You don't have to act like you know everything. And that's a good feeling for people that are not actively telling story. People prevent themselves from telling story because I don't want to be an imposter. I don't want people to think I know what I'm talking about and that I'm the smartest guy on the planet. And does that sound too cocky? Okay, well, if you just tell people what you learned yesterday, it gets rid of all that bullshit, right? And now you can actually do the thing that you know you need to do, which is connect with your audience more in order to get more business. Do you want more business?
I need more business.
Okay. It's the same thing with, like, you've probably heard me talk about this on SubTo Family Night, is like, if you and I owned a burger joint, you're the cook, I'm the marketing guy, and you keep coming to me going, bro, I don't have enough customers to cook burgers for. what's going on with marketing? I go, man, I'm really trying. You're like, what are you doing? I'm like, well, I'm telling all my friends and family about it. And you're like, well, do we have a sign on the door? I go, well, I'm working on that. I know we need a sign on the door that says burgers. And I know that we need a sign in the shopping center where we're in the strip mall. I know we need something saying burgers. I know we need a web page. I'm working on that. Would you think I was a responsible partner?
No, I'd be pretty pissed.
Okay, so what marketing are you not doing to sell more hamburgers in your business right now that you know you should be doing?
Not talking about what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you don't have to talk about exactly what you're doing. You just have to tell the story of Michael Kim. Like, you got me hooked in right away today. You're like, yeah, okay, so I found out about this community and it saved my life because I was about to go to prison. I was being attacked federally for selling dope. Okay, that's pretty dope. Pun intended. And I couldn't stop thinking about it. Today. I was like, I can't wait to get to the podcast today and be like, Michael Kim, who's done a SubTo deal in nearly 40 states in the United States. You've done more states of SubTo deals than I have personally. Now my title company's done more, but me personally, you've outbeat me. So I know you've done cool stuff. But now I'm going like, where's the gap between where you were stuck and how you became unstuck? Like, bro, I'm plugged into the Michael Kim movie right now. I need to know. And you left me hanging and I've been thirsty for it all day long. Why are you not telling that to the community?
Honestly, it was one of those things of, I guess, people judging you. Like, I've gotten to a point where I'm more comfortable, right? And I've posted this was like a few months ago, but I posted like my mugshot, my court paperwork. I'm like, I also put little things in there, never fold,
Yeah.
And then kind of like where it was like a snippet of like being in SubTo. It's like, this is what happened to me. I found SubTo, bunch of pictures of Pace, because I love you. And then, Squat Up Summit, now an owners club.
Yeah.
But
there's a massive gap there, right? Like,
there is.
The gap is these moments where you're laying in bed, you're going through this federal situation. You basically were going through entrapment. One of your friends backstabs you. I want to hear the story all over again. You were married at the time?
Not married, no.
Dating?
Lady. My second son's mom.
Okay, cool. I'm sure you were laying in bed saying, oh, shit, what's going to happen tomorrow? And this goes on for weeks, if not months, maybe even more than a year. You can't condense that into one sentence. You have to give that breath. And I'm sitting here going, what happened to this dude? So let's hear the story. Catch me up to speed. Let's practice. Where were you? Where were you at the beginning of COVID? How were you making money?
I was hustling.
Hustling drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. So now my immediate thought is, how did you get into that? Like, a dude that grew up with 12 kids, mom and dad married, religious background. I have no idea how that opportunity would even pop up, right? Like, how did you even run into that?
Well, just to put out there, I have both parents. They're great. They're still married. Dad's super hard worker. My mom's super religious. Okay. So it's kind of weird. Like,
how does Michael Kim start selling drugs?
I think it's more product of your environment, right? Grew up in California, grew up in the East Bay, and it's just not what everyone was doing, but that's...
What was attractive
it was the money.
It was the money.
It was the money.
And was it like your other brothers, like your homies, they were doing it too, and it was just easy?
It was the homies.
Okay, it was the homies. And you guys were hanging around, you see these guys selling drugs, and you're not worried about getting caught because it looks like nobody's getting caught.
Yeah, but my story, how it started, it was pretty messed up because when I started, I was 12. When I started, I got caught like right away. So, I went through the whole thing of, I got kicked out of school. I went to continuation school, and how the system's built, they pretty much put you...
What the hell did your mom and dad think at 12 years old? Like, your dad's pretty staunch dude. Your mom is like, I know she's a patient woman, but she's religious. You're 12. How the hell did your parents react to you getting caught selling drugs?
I didn't really hear it too much from my dad, right? He's not very big with emotions, right? Old school Korean guy.
Old school Korean guy, yep.
My mom, obviously very heartbroken. And it was a question of why, right? I come from a family that's a very, I don't want to say frugal, but like we don't like to waste money, right? But when you're growing up and you see kids wearing brand new Jordans, new clothes all the time, and I didn't have the same. And don't get me wrong, my parents made sure we had the necessities, but I wanted more. That's kind of where it kind of steered off, like, hey, we could be doing this.
Was there like a dude at 12 years old that steered you off that direction? Like, what's his name? What's the name of the first guy that steered? Don't say his last name. Was it Too Short? Because I know Too Short was over there in Oakland too.
No, it was actually a good buddy of mine. And I was still friends with him, like even after the fact. And unfortunate thing, he passed away. He actually got killed in front of his house in Oakland.
Over drugs?
Drugs.
Okay.
So from what I understand, he stopped, and then one day he was walking out, throwing out the garbage, and
pop.
They got him.
Yeah. So he gets you into the game. How do you get caught at 12? Just being stupid?
Bathroom, trying to sell a bag. Someone else walks in, sees it, walks out. Next thing I know, I get pulled out. I'm in class and I get pulled out.
Did you have drugs on you, or did you get rid of them?
Yeah, I had 3 bags in my shoe. So it was actually funny because they kept asking me, where is it at? I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, where is it at? I don't know. And then as soon as I got up to call my mom, like, hey, I'm getting suspended, all I hear is the security guard say, check your shoes.
That son of a bitch. I mean, it's good that you got caught at the end of the day, but like, wow.
Well, the thing is, it put me in a different direction, right? And not in a good way. Because how I kind of look at everything is like, even when you go to jail or anything like that, you start adapting more. Like when I've gone to jail, like you learn how to be a better criminal. You network. Hey, I've got plugs for you. I get out, take my number. Let's do some work together.
It's kind of like Owner's Club if you want to be a drug dealer.
100%. So and that's really what it was. It was like when I got kicked out of school, they put you in continuation school. What are the kids in They're from group homes, broken families, kicked out of school too. They're violent. They sell drugs, everything.
Bad mindset. Blame the system. Blame everybody but themselves. Nobody takes responsibility. That becomes your way of life and your mindset.
And I think with this generation now, it's a lot more different, right? But like, what is it, like 25 years ago or 20 years ago, it was a big thing about you've got to stand your ground. You can't be no bitch.
Yeah.
Right? And that gets thrown around a lot. Like when I was in group homes, that's how you f with people. Oh, you're not going to go do that. Oh yeah, we'll put that on your hood. Go do it. Oh, you making your hood look bad. And then it's an instant thing of like, no, that ain't me. And they'll go do it.
Wow.
But.
So you get caught, you go through continuation school. You don't stop, obviously. And you get right back into the game, but you get smarter, you get better at it. So you don't get caught.
You learn to grow. I mean, you either adapt and grow, or you're always just going to, you're just going to stay nickel and diming the whole time.
Okay. How old are you right now?
37.
You're 37. When did you stop selling drugs?
32.
32, right?
No, wait, 31, 32.
Okay, so you get caught.
That's the only reason I stopped.
The only reason you stopped was 31, 32. This is interesting. So you have a 20-year run of selling drugs.
It was off and on, right? Because what is it? Eventually, like when I'm 15, I'm in juvenile hall, group homes, rehabs, in and out. Then I get older, and then it's county time. Then
Your poor mom, dude. Oh my gosh.
I ran my mom through hell, but you know what? I also do everything that I can for my family. But yeah, no, I feel bad for my mom.
Wow, dude. Like, it's interesting you finding our community, and it actually ended up saving you from like going to federal prison, right?
It did a lot for me because when I got admitted to a program, it's called D-Start. It was a new program in Oregon for people who caught federal cases. I was the only one in court talking about doing real estate, and they didn't believe me because, and this isn't to knock anybody who's working a 9 to 5, but it's like, oh yeah, I'm still trying to get a job. I have an interview at Columbia Sportswear. Oh, I'm trying to get a job as an assistant over here. Then it's like, all right, Mr. Kim, what have you been working on? Well, I've been working on my real estate, but what do you do in real estate? I do something where we do creative finance. And then they would ask more and more questions. And then it was, we need you, I'd get pulled after court. My PO would pull me out. We need to see all your bank statements. Here you go. I mean, it wasn't.
Because there's no way they would believe you.
Well, it's like.
It's not like they're bad people.
Yeah.
It's just like you talk to 1,000 people that are like, Columbia, let me go to fancy footwear, let me go to Foot Locker. Like, these are the jobs people are getting that are going through the situations you're in. And then you're like, oh, I'm doing real estate. I'm doing creative finance.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, first off, what is that? Second off, bull.
Their first question was, are you an agent? That's where it went to. And then I'm like,
yeah,
no,
I'm Asian. Oh, agent? You said agent?
But like it threw them off.
Yeah.
And that's where they started looking into a lot of my stuff more.
Okay, so you're 31, 32. This is COVID time. You've found the community. You found creative finance. You found the world that we're in. Were you doing transaction coordination? Were you doing wholesale? What were you doing in the very beginning?
The very beginning, cold calling.
Okay.
I did not like it. It was one of those things where I would watch the clock because everyone's like, just put in 2 hours. And I'm sitting there on my dialer looking at it. And I'm like, all right, 15 more minutes. Like, I hated cold calling. But obviously everyone's like, you got to put in the work. But that's, I didn't know really about the whole transaction coordination stuff at all. But it was a phone call with Elena where she's talking to me and she was like, what have you done? And like, we're talking about it. And she was like, you need to talk to Caleb Christopher. I'm like, oh, I can't offer that guy anything. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to waste his time. And I guess luckily she kept, she called it pestering him. And he finally was like, all right, I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
And we talked. And one of the first things, obviously he was asking me questions. And I had to tell him, like, the only thing I really have to offer you is my time. Like, I don't know a lot. I don't have a lot of knowledge. I haven't done a deal, but I watch all the Zooms. Like, I'm intaking information, but again, I've never done a deal before. And when I told him that, he was just like, all right, well, I'm just starting.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm not looking for money. I'm looking for knowledge. And one of the things I promised him was, I will stay with you until you have your company up and running where I don't need to be there anymore.
Yeah.
I ended up staying with him for 1.5 years. And he asked me what took me so long.
It's interesting about Caleb Christopher, good friend to all of ours. He's a little prickly pear. Shout out to Caleb Christopher. He's the guy, I would call him a crab. He's hard on the outside, really soft on the inside. And you can see it in his comments in the SubTo Facebook group. You're like, bro, chill out. But we love Caleb. And I remember years ago, this is probably 4 years ago, Caleb's at my house, right here, almost 5 years ago. And he's in my home and he goes, Pace, I just want to let you know my family is surviving on my food storage in my garage. Like, I go out there every day, my kids are eating beans and rice from canned food off of a shelf that we saved money. And he goes, I just want to let you know that I'm building my TC business inside of SubTo. And this month I'm on track to make $20,000. I've never made that much money in my entire life. And I just want to say thank you. My kids and I were on the verge of starving, and this community saved my life. What's great about Caleb is then Caleb loves on you and gives you the love and adoration that you deserve. And he spends time with you and walks you through transactions and gets you involved in things. And that is what a community is, right? Like, heaven forbid we ever created something where it's like, hey, go watch the videos and good luck. You know what I'm saying? Heaven forbid we go, oh yeah, cool. You want to do the same thing I'm currently doing? Yeah, no, I don't want competition. But the spirit of this unbelievable community is it attracts go-givers. And it's not weird for Caleb to go, oh yeah, Michael, I don't know you, but you're in the same community as me, which means you're a filtered higher level thinking person. I will absolutely show you what I'm doing because I want to collaborate with you for the rest of my life. You stay with him for a year and a half, you do a bunch of transactions, you learn transaction engineering, you learn creative finance at a high level, but you touch a lot of transactions, which is awesome. And you gain the confidence of a beast. And now it's like probably not many things that you don't feel confident walking into right now.
I'll get on the phone with an attorney and talk to him, go back and forth with them. I mean, that's, the land deal I was talking about. I'm talking to attorneys and having them understand, like, look, I'll even look up state statute codes and all different types of stuff. And like, look, this is what I was talking about, but maybe this is a better language for you guys. Yeah. Statute code, OR, whatever. And, they'll come back to me and be like, all right, I understand. So I've gotten to the point where I'm very comfortable, either negotiating or talking about creative finance to anybody.
So you're going through, you're going to court. They go, show us your bank statements, show us that you're actually doing the thing. You prove to them that you're actually doing creative finance. They're like, okay, got it. Like, we don't want to go put you in prison because it looks like you're on the straight and narrow. So being in the community essentially saved you from going to federal prison, or what how's that work?
100%. Because so what I was looking at was, and it wasn't very long. I already accepted it at a certain point, right? Because even like my lady will talk about it. When I first gave her that call, she's like, are they going to release you? And I'm like, I don't know. Because I don't know what they know. I don't know how long they've been watching me. I don't know what's going on. But she was like...
This is your girl now.
Yeah.
And what's her name for the audience?
Suji.
That's such a Korean name. Such a beautiful, beautiful Korean name. We love that. So Suji, she's with you while you're selling dope.
She doesn't know. Here's the thing.
She's
very
aware
private. She's aware that
you're doing some
I'm
nefarious
doing
shit.
some real like she knows.
She's dating a hardcore guy. She probably thinks, I don't know what he's up to.
I talked to Chino about this because he was like, it's very hard to live two different lives. And this is what I told him, but I did live two different lives. I have my family, and then I have the other side of everything that I do. That doesn't come home. So the thing with her is, all she really knew is like, all right, he leaves, he's gone, he's got 10 different phones. Like, he leaves when he gets phone calls. Obviously once in a while, I'm very strict with who knew where I lived. I had other houses, and she knows certain things, right? She would hear things, but she didn't exactly know what. It's like, I don't have a 9-to-5, but I'm coming home and I've got 20 grand on the table that I just pulled out of my pocket. She sees cash lying around. She sees that we don't worry about money. I've got multiple cars. She doesn't have to work. Kids are taken care of. I do whatever I want. But I'm very strict with, you only need to know what you need to know, because anything that I do tell you can possibly get you in trouble. So it's one of those things where I'm like, just stay in your lane. Let me do what I need to do to take care of what I have to take care of. And she respected it.
So you get caught, you go to prison, you call her. She's like, when are you getting released? You go, I don't know.
So when I got sent to county and I gave her that call, it was the whole I don't know thing, right? But she was like, what do you think? And I was like, if worse comes to worse, maybe 10, maybe longer. I don't know. But the good thing for me was, when I actually went to go do the deal, I didn't have my gun. If I would have had my gun, that would have been automatic 5 just for the pistol. So when the DA actually got me, it was actually funny, because to me, there's no reason to fight the cop. Like, if they got you and they've got guns to your head, what am I gonna do? Like, if I do anything, I might die. They actually apologized to me, because while I was walking to the hotel to go do that meeting, lo and behold, that guy who actually set everything up, confidential informant, and the partner that he brought to one of our interactions, he didn't speak English, so I'm like, oh, he's a legit paisa. Like, all right, cool. Yeah, no, he spoke perfect English. He was the DEA. He was the undercover. So they had everything recorded and everything. But when I actually went to go do the meet, it was that whole thing of like, look, we're not going to meet you for one brick. You have to at least take 2. And I'm like, I haven't even seen the product. So I'm like, you know what? Just so I can see what's going on, I'll take the 2. That's where we'll start. And then when I actually went to go do the meeting, I got very lucky because of how timing happened. I was supposed to go pick up a different pistol to go, like for a conceal, right? I didn't get that phone call. I got the phone call from the confidential informant. So I was like, you know what? If anything happens, we're in public, you know, whatever happens, it is what it is. So I just went. And so I just went, and that's, you know, obviously I drove down there. It's actually funny because I drove by that same hotel that I got cracked at when I was driving to Rob Harden's meetup. I drove by and I was like, wait, this looks hella familiar.
Shout out Rob Harden. We love you, Billy.
So, no, so after all that happened, you know, I called my lady and I let her know what's going on. But that was one of the hard conversations. Like, look, like that one conversation I had with her was, I might do a long time because I don't know what they have. What I need to know from you is, are you going to be okay? She was like, I'll be fine. Obviously, I told her if anything bad happens, like, you know, I need you to call these people. And she, you know, so she called the people and let them know, like, I don't know what's going on, but he's locked up right now. Don't know if he's going to get out. And that, you know, but I think that was a hard thing for her to accept, was like, hey, because I even told her this too. If I'm locked up, I don't believe in relationships. You go live your life. Don't wait for me.
But you guys have kids.
Doesn't matter. I will still do what I need to do. If for some reason I have to stay, I will make sure, no matter what I have to do, that I'm sending money home. I don't need you to put money in my books. I don't need anything. I'm fine. Just make sure the kids are going to be okay. And then once I get to where I need to get to, I'll do whatever I need to do to make sure you guys are taken care of. But you don't need to wait for me.
So how do you get out of county? Like, how do you get out of the situation?
Well, that was the great thing. So I actually ended up hiring an attorney, right? And the hard thing about getting an attorney when you have a federal case is they have a 98% conviction rate, right? So when the feds come for you, they have something on you.
Yeah.
So it's very rare that you'll get it turned over. So I call one of my attorneys. He's expensive. He's a $20K retainer. So, you know, I talked to him. He was like, Mike, are you sure? I'm like, dude, I need you to be on my team. And the reason why you hire a federal attorney when you're fighting a Fed case is you're not fighting him to get you off or try and prove some dumb. You're paying him for his connections.
Yeah.
The district attorney on the other side, that was one of his buddies. Yeah. You know, I went through two.
They make one phone call, like everything can change.
And he had a bigger case that he was worrying about. Like, my case to him was small. It was nothing to him. It was peanuts. Like, he's handling a whole RICO case with like murderers and all different types of stuff. And he looks at my stuff. He's like, two keys? What do I want with this?
Yeah.
But what ended up happening after we hired the attorney, because for the feds, and I didn't know this, but with the feds, if you have a nonviolent crime, they will place you on pretrial release. So feds don't do bail. There's no bail. You can't pay to get people out. If you're nonviolent, they will release you. So you can fight your case outside. So with this thing is, like my attorney told me, he was like, look, you're looking maybe at about like 48 months. In my head, I'm like, that's it? Like, because I'm already prepared for football numbers.
You're looking at 10, 12, 15.
That's what I'm thinking. But when he told me 4 years, I'm like, dude, thank you. I can do 4. But his whole thing was, well, let's see how far we can take it.
You literally would be barely getting out of prison right now.
Yeah. Oh, you know what the funny thing is though, like when I was actually in my cell, right? The one thing that I did think, I was telling Chino this, it might be weird to talk about, but the one thing I was really thinking about was, what can I teach myself to make white people money? So my mind didn't go to real estate immediately. It was more of
white people money.
That's where my mind went to. It's like, what do I need to do?
When I was younger, I would ask myself the question, what do I need to do to make Korean money?
I don't know too many rich Korean people.
So what do I need to do to make rich people money or white people money? It's hilarious.
Well, my mind immediately went to, I'm going to do stocks, Wall Street. That's what you hear. So, I didn't find SubTo. I didn't really know about real estate at all. Because again, in my head, real estate is agent, really rich person, white people money buying buildings. And that's as far as my knowledge went for real estate.
I think that's how most people's knowledge is regardless. And it's interesting now to just think about where you are now, to understand the landscape of what off-market real estate looks like, what real estate looks like, and how you're participating in hundreds of transactions all the time, like on a yearly basis. It's crazy how far you've come from that thought process.
No, 100%.
And now you're negotiating land deals and doing all sorts of crazy things.
Well, I'm talking to agents too, and I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, how do you not know any of this stuff? Like, do you know how much more money you could make?
You went from thinking agents were the way to holy crap, agents are in the way.
Well, the thing is, I'm sorry to there's obviously good agents and doing luxury real estate and stuff. But in my head, I'm like, wow, you've brought it up a bunch of times. Like there's a huge percentage of agents that haven't even done one deal in the last year. And I've talked to those people and I'm just sitting there and I'm like,
how did they give you a license?
My mind runs constantly. So when I do get in contact with these people, I just start questioning the shit out of them because I'm like, how did you get this far? Yeah. All right, so what's your other job? Because obviously you're not making any money. Are you, yeah, what's your W-2?
And then people go, why do you hate agents so much? I'm like, I don't. I love the 10% that kill it. And the other 90% that get in our way, I'm just like, I'll just wait till you get the listing goes expired. I'll call your seller directly because you are driving me wild.
Yeah, no, we've had those conversations. We're trying to pay you, but at the same time, you have to understand our numbers need to hit too. So when you're asking me to pay you, $30K, agent fee because you want to be represented, we don't need your representation. Yeah. We're still trying to get you paid. What are you trying to do? It's kind of like how you've always talked about sellers. It's like they answer at the last week before foreclosure happens.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with an agent. Oh shit, I'm coming out of contract.
Yeah, I literally got an email today. Hey, I'm going to foreclosure tomorrow. Can you help me? And I'm like, okay, are you the seller? No, I'm the agent representing the seller. I'm like, the day before your client loses the house, this is when you reach out? It's crazy. The point is, to the audience, agents don't know as much as we thought they did.
100%.
Are you licensed?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think I can get a license.
That only just further proves the point. You will make more money than any real estate agent, or at least 90% of real estate agents, the rest of your life, and you legally probably can't get a license.
I heard when you're a felon, especially with the Oregon state, their bar or whatever,
yeah.
I heard they really come down on that with the hammer of giving licenses to felons. And I don't know if that's everywhere, but the agents I've spoken to, they're just like, you're probably gonna get disappointed. I'm like, why? And they're like, you're probably not gonna be able to get licensed. I'm like, why? They just don't allow felons to have an agent's license.
Yeah, because you're a fiduciary, right? You're representing somebody based on their money. Which is ironic because it's like all these people that have no experience in any money are representing sellers on their biggest transaction. It's crazy. So you're in your cell. You're like, I need to go make white people money. Stocks. What was the next step? How do we get out of county? How do we get back home? They just release you.
So I get transferred because I'm in Salem, Oregon, and I get transferred over to Multnomah County. And I obviously go through my hearing, but I talked to my attorney. He was like, hey, good news. I'm like, what's going on? He was like, they're not going to put you in population because
meaning they're not going to release you.
What was that?
Population meaning they're not going to release you.
Release me to the general population of the other inmates.
Okay, got it.
So pretty much what he told me was, we need to go through this. It's not like an arraignment, but it's like, hey, you need to, I don't know what you would call it, but it's pretty much going in front of the judge. Hey, these are the stipulations. We're going to put you on pretrial release. So from there, my lady was already, she was already waiting. But what is it? So I get released from Multnomah County. Obviously, my lady picks me up. And then in my mind, I'm already like, all right, what do I need to do? So she's actually at this point staying with my parents because she didn't want to go back to our condo or anything like that. I end up going back to the condo, and I don't even know if I should talk about this part, but there's a phone there. I, talked, it's my people, they left the phone there for me. So I talked to them, let them know what's going on. And from there, I don't know if this is like fast forwarding, but moving forward from there, like I already knew we had to give up the condo. Like I lost everything. Like my money's gone. I was trying to.
They freeze your accounts. They do everything.
I never had a bank account. So
they take your cash.
So the reason why I made this really sloppy move.
Bro, Pablo Escobar like dug money in the ground. Like why weren't you putting money in a duffel bag in the ground?
Well, this has happened before COVID actually happened. So I got put in a very bad situation. I lost a little over 350K. So and again, my lady could tell you how depressed I was. I was messed up, but I was still hustling enough to make sure that my family was taken care of. This, like fast forward a year later, I'm like sitting there, I'm trying to I need to fix something. But this is when my dad comes back. My parents went to Korea. My dad comes back and he's like, your mom has cancer. She needs about 30 grand for surgery. Like, he wasn't asking me for anything, right? But I kind of knew where it all kind of came from. I didn't have the money because I just lost everything. And that last year, I was just living day to day. So what ended up happening from there was it messed me up more because I'm like my family needs help and I can't even help them. So what did I do? I did every reckless thing that I can to make more money. So I would say within like a 3-4 month period, I had maybe like 10 grand to my name. Again, because that's all I'm rotating out is 10 grand. And I'm doubling it every month, but again, going back to my bills. In that 3 to 4 months, I turned that 10 into 120. So I can hustle. But the thing is
there's somebody watching this YouTube video right now going, okay, Michael Kim, please come out with a dope selling course. I need to take 10 and turn it into 120,000.
Well, the thing is I did take a lot more dumb risk, right?
Of course.
I was dealing with people that I typically wouldn't deal with. And then again, that's kind of how.
It's like the guy, the Paisa or the fake Paisa who's like pretending like he couldn't speak English, ends up being the DEA. Hey, we won't deal with you unless you do 2 bricks instead of 1.
There's so many red flags.
You would have never done that deal. You would have never recklessly put yourself in that situation if you hadn't lost that $350,000.
I'm very big about risk, and I feel like that's why I've survived so long when I was hustling, was because I looked at everything, and even having to spend money. If I needed to go get another house, like everything was under other people's names. My cars were in different people's names. Like when the feds got me, they called me a different name. I don't want to say his name on camera, but they called me, his initials are BL. And he's a good buddy of mine, right? He trusts me, but like one of the cars that I had that they tagged me in was a car that he bought. That I ended up buying
everything
cash.
Was
I never
anonymous.
owned anything. Yeah. I didn't own anything. I had houses. I didn't own them though. Like everything was in different people's names. My cars were in different people's names.
Your girl picks you up. Is she upset with you? Is she mad at you? Or is your girl just ride or die?
She understood, again, she doesn't know a lot, but she knows the lifestyle. She's seen my people. She knows they're not normal citizens.
Right.
So she understands there's something going on, but again, she doesn't know what.
And she's just, I'm here for you. I'm here to help. She was happy you got out of prison. You guys go to her parents' house because you don't want to go back to the condo.
Oh, no, my parents.
Okay, your parents. You can't go back to selling drugs.
I could have, but then the thing is, one thing that I always taught my people was, you need to stack money. You need to have just in case, attorney money, living money. You cut communications off with everybody, and until everything dies down, you are not allowed to get a hold of anybody. So I couldn't break my own rule. So when everything happened, obviously I had to think about everything, right? Everybody knows what's going on. I needed to cut myself off from everybody, because the big thing I didn't want to...
you could get them caught.
And that's the big thing, right? If something happened, then that puts a bad name on me, and I'd have to justify, whatever. So
they can't take care of their kids, their bills. They can't do whatever because the Fed comes after you and says, Mike, we want everybody you're attached to, type of thing. And so you're trying to cut all ties, throw phones away, do everything you possibly can. And so how do you go make money?
So, and that was the hard part, right? Was I lost a bunch of money.
I mean, by the time you go from 12 to 31, 32, and your number one source of income during that time frame, or at least the reliable income, ends up being selling dope. Like, you tell a 31-year-old, hey, your entire ability to make money is gone. Go figure it out. Start from scratch. A guy with a pretty girl, I'm sure she ain't cheap, and kids, you're probably sitting there going, oh, how am I going to cover my bills?
No, and that was one of the biggest defeating things, right? Because I have other cases, right? And when this is where I was like, you know what? I need to make some type of income for the meantime, so I can help provide for the family, right? Applied to Uber Eats, DoorDash.
You go from making 120 grand in 4 months to going, how do I barely survive by going on Uber Eats?
They wouldn't give me a job.
Of course not. You just got released from county, bro. What are you talking about?
Well, so those charges don't even show up, right? It's other stuff where they're like,
stuff.
Where they wouldn't give me a job.
Okay.
So what ended up happening was we ended up having to break our lease with our landlord for our condo, which she was super understandable because we were actually coming down to the end of our lease anyways. So she let us go. Like, she didn't charge us any money or anything like that. She was super great. And we ended up having to stay with my parents. The thing with staying with my parents is they actually have one of those like grandmother suites in their house. So like we had like our own room, kitchen, living room, bathroom, but it was really though. I've got 2 kids, my lady's grown, I'm grown, and we're living in the grandmother suite of my mom's house. And I had to make myself feel better too, right? So I would pay my mom rent. Like, even though it was like the whole thing, you don't have to, you're figuring out life, like, it's okay. I'm like, this makes me feel better though, because I'm contributing, right? So, I don't know if I should talk about this. Like, so how I ended up getting money, right? What was going on in COVID? How much money were they throwing around?
Oh, PPP money. They were government was throwing around.
I started tapping into everything.
Yeah, smart.
So with my lady, with me, having the kids and everything, I was able to get a decent chunk of money. Not anything to like survive long-term wise, but it was something.
Breathing room.
To give my parents money to make sure like I'm not too much of a burden for the family being there.
Shout out to the government. Hey, shout out to Biden. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Biden. So
getting to like the whole stock stuff, right? So I ended up looking up like a bunch of videos, motivational. One of my favorites, I know people are kind of, what is it? There's some people that don't like how he does stuff, but I found David Goggins.
I love Goggins.
So I would run and I would listen to him, and all that kept playing in my head is, don't be a bitch, right? You got to discipline, callous your mind, all that stuff. So I would listen to him every day. And then I started going on like Google and looking up like day trading and all this stuff. And then obviously you find stuff on YouTube. And then I found this like trading community, right? So I tried it out for a month to see like how it was. And I was like, you know what? This seems easy, right? I could do this. Yeah, no, it was a lot harder than I thought, because your money can go like that.
Oh, dude. I did trading for a couple of months. I went through like these practice accounts. The practice accounts do not operate the same as the real accounts.
Yeah, because they're like delayed.
They're delayed. Mm-hmm. They don't give you the actual account. So one little microsecond or a second or 2-second delay is the game changer between a $3,000 win and a $20,000 loss.
100%.
Especially when you're leveraging like 100x and you're like, I'm going to leverage the piss out of things because I can't be making $100 a month. I got to go leverage. I blew up a $25,000 account, and I was like, I will never trade ever again.
I've never blown up an account though.
Okay, you're a better man than me. But I look at all the people that are day trading, and I'm like, y'all, you're obviously not day trading right now.
No.
It's hard.
It's very hard. I've got buddies that I still talk to on a daily basis that do day trade.
Yeah.
And if you look through our Discord, it's just like, F this, F that. I hate my life. And then it's like the bipolar stuff. Then you get, oh my God, I'm the king.
Oh, yeah.
I just pulled in 2, 3, 4 grand. Like it's very emotional.
So you go through the stock trading thing, then what happens?
So some of the money that I had started going, and what is it? I don't want to go too much into detail with this part, but what is it? I had a few friends reach out to me, and they understood the situation that was going on with me. So they did whatever they could to try and help me out.
Yeah.
Because what is it? It was one of those things of like, when I made money, it wasn't just me, right?
Of course,
like
you bring your friends along, you take care of them.
If me and you go out and I know like I just pulled in 10, 15 grand that day, like I'm paying for everything, drinks, get whatever you want. We'll go to the club, bottles. It didn't matter. It's just every day was a party. Luckily, some of these people didn't forget. So they started helping me out where they could, right? And they, some people put money in my pocket for me because of all the stuff that I've done for them. So eventually, what is it? We stayed with my parents for a year, and that's where I was like, you know what? We need to go because I need to be more clear-headed. I need my own space. This is messing with my mental being here. So we ended up moving close to my parents' restaurant because that way I can still be close, help them out with their business, and then kind of try and concentrate on the stuff I'm doing. So I'm still day trading at this point, and I have the money. But this is when I ended up I was watching YouTube, and there's this, I don't want to say his name either because I don't like the guy, but I saw his YouTube, and he had an accent. He would do live calls on YouTube. And I ended up joining his community. It's not a community. It's a very dead, nobody talks in there. Nobody helps you. The guy that I thought would help everybody, he don't respond to nobody. Yeah. It was terrible.
Yeah.
But he did give me that idea that like, well, if this guy can do it, then like other people should be able to do it. I ended up finding a local wholesaler in my area. And, we did driving for dollars for a little bit. I'd go on my own. He gave me this little app, and I would just mark homes and all this stuff. And I did that for like a month, and then he skipped it, and I started cold calling, right? But I wasn't getting anywhere with it, but there was no coaching. There was nothing, right? And then eventually he stopped picking up my phone calls too. So I'm like, dude, like what the hell? So how I came to SubTo though, this is what like, this was like my everything, right? What is it? Carolina Allen saw one of my posts in like the local like Portland RIA groups, right? And
shout out to Carolina. We love you so much.
She jumped on it. I think we were on the phone for 2 hours. Yeah. And she's just like, how can I help you? And all this other stuff, right? And then at the very end, I brought up like, hey, what is this thing about like creative finance? And she was like, oh, you should look for watch Pace Morby on YouTube. I was like, I'm writing it down. Pace Morby. I need to look up Pace Morby. The first YouTube
and now you're in my house.
The first YouTube I saw was...
we hung out a lot over the years, yeah. But here we are, probably I don't know. We've hung out a lot, but here you are hanging out in the house telling the story. This is great.
Well, the thing is, the first YouTube that I saw was I think it was your 24-hour live. It was this, and I still remember bits and pieces of the conversation, because this was like 3.5 years ago, right? But the guy was struggling with his house, and from what I think what you ended up figuring out was he's a fix and flipper, and he didn't budget right, but he still wanted money. And he kept hanging up on you, and you're like, should I call him? I'm calling back. I don't know how many times you called him, but you even used someone else's phone because he wouldn't answer, and I'm just like, I love this guy. And what is it? That's when I joined the free group, and then I ended up talking to somebody, and the person who called me, and I was sitting there, I'm like, I wonder if this is a scam. And I'm like feeling guilty because I'm like, all right, I got to put up money to join this guy's community. I like him. He's like, just seeing like that YouTube, I'm just like, I want to be in his orbit.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, the guy's talking to me, and I'm like, is there like, do I have to pay all up front? He was like, dude, it's creative finance. What are you trying to do? And we talked about it, and he worked out a payment plan with me. And I know a lot of people are always like, oh, I got to talk to my wife. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, no, this is for my family, So I didn't talk to anybody about it. I didn't get approval. I joined, and then the next day I was like, hey, I don't know if you're going to get mad or not, but I just spent this much to put debt for a payment to be in this guy's community. And she was like, you sure? And I was like, I hope so. And she was like, all right, I trust you. She's always like, no matter how, she's seen me fall down a bunch of times, but she's also seen me get up a bunch of times. So it was her faith. She had faith. You're going to fix it. All right. And if this works out, great. So that's, when I joined the community. And that's how I found SubTo.
It's been a scam.
No, I mean, the people that call it a scam are the people that don't want to put in the work.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the people that call it, there's a couple of people that call it a scam. And I think in the very beginning, like I didn't want to be a coach 5.5 years ago. I didn't want to be a mentor. I want to build a community, which is exactly what we are. And, you have people like Kong, shout out to Kong, I like him. They'll use the word community so incorrectly. It's like, no, you have a course and people hang out in there and they kind of hang out. That's not a community, right? That's like the park, right? There's some bums there and there's some people that float around, but you ain't going to get a lot of help there.
Like this is night and day.
It's not even the same thing.
Who gets to talk to the mentor, call them friend, text them and you text back, call. You throw all these community events for everybody to get together. And then when it's like, hey, Pace, I have a deal. You're like, oh, talk to this person. This guy, this person can help you. This person can help you.
But then we all do it for each other. Like think about like how many friends you have all over the country, right? Like in this community, you could probably go through and go, I have 10, 15 friends on average in every state in this country that I could go do deals with. If you and your wife moved to any state in this country right now, you could go make money in that state.
And it's funny because you always say this in Zoom. My best friends are in the community. I have good friends. Unfortunately, some of mine are locked up too. And I still answer their phone calls. I still go back and I visit people. I still talk to them. But I talk to Chino Tiger, Robert Hart. I talk to them on a daily basis. Yeah. And I was very big. I was talking to Chino about this last night. I was very big on not believing birds of a feather flock together, right? Because I'm over here, I'm hustling, and these people who grew up in Portland and all that, so they're not doing what I was doing. I am steadily growing and evolving, granted in a negative way, but I'm making money. So in my head, I'm like, well, because they're not doing it or they're lazy or they're not willing to take the risk or, do what they need to do to, collect their money. But I'm over here, I'm doing all this stuff. These are still my people. But when I started hanging out with Caleb a lot, right? Because he had in the beginning of my whole journey, he had the biggest impact because I was in a Zoom with him 12 plus hours a day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, he was, Caleb, just to give Caleb some love for a minute. We had a girl that was, Rochelle Jarvis is her name. I had a girl that her name was Rochelle Jarvis, and I brought her into the community. She was an employee of mine, and I partnered with her, and I said, we are doing so many deals in SubTo. I'm about a year away from launching something called Gator. That's going to double down on how many deals are going to be going on, different types of deals. I need somebody training people how to do the paperwork the right way, and we need to go find 500 to 700 women to help these chaotic visionaries do the thing. She's like, I'm all in. We started paying her, I think she was getting paid 10, 15 grand a month. But at the time when I first met her, I put a post on Instagram stories like I do. This is 2018, 17, 18. I put a post on Instagram stories, hey, I'm looking for a transaction coordinator that I can train on creative finance. My wife just got pregnant and she wants me to fire her. So this is when Corbin's about to get born. And my wife comes to me, she goes, will you fire me? I want to be a full-time mom. I go, absolutely, no problem. So I go on Instagram, I find Rochelle Jarvis. She's making $5,000 a month. She talks about how this guy she's with is abusing her. She's been there for 10, 15 years. Do you know what SubTo and seller finance is? She says, no, I know nothing. I don't even know who you are. Amazing. Like locally, people knew who I was in 2014, but like nationwide, they didn't. And so I go, amazing. I'd love to teach you everything that I know about creative finance. At some point, I'm going to launch something really special and I need somebody that's going to help me push this forward. And it was a really like important position in this entire big vision that I have for our overall community. So she joins our team. She's with us. We launched SubTo in 2020. She's in 3-4 Zooms every week teaching people. She's with my attorney. She's teaching Caleb Christopher how to be a transaction coordinator. Caleb's coming to the office. Caleb's on Zooms, among hundreds of other people as well. I used to do a transaction coordination training on Saturdays every week in SubTo back in 2020, 2021, and 2022. Rochelle, I go, all right, it's time for us to scale the team. Like I need to do more transactions. She's like, no, I want to make all the money myself. I'm like, Rochelle, that's not how this works. Like you got to give up some money in the beginning for us to scale. She's like, I'm making $20,000 a month right now working for you. And you're telling me now we got to hire some VAs to do X, Y, and Z. No, we got into some strife. Next thing you know, she blocks me on my phone. Like you guys have met my whole staff. You see how I treat people. Eric's been with me for nearly 4 years. I mean, I talk some shit and I tease people, but like I treat people appropriately. And Rochelle leaves, deletes my entire Dropbox from 2014 to 2021 of all my files, all my HUDs. She deletes everything. It takes us about 1.5 years to get it all back. We get it all back. She leaves and she goes off and she starts telling people she taught me everything I knew about creative finance and blah, 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 blah. So shout out to Rochelle Jarvis. And I don't have any hate. Like I just knew in that moment, I go, she's a gnat on a ball sack. She's nothing. But now I have a big void in the community because she was doing all the trainings. Guess who steps up? Caleb motherfreaking Christopher. He and I get on a phone call right here in my home. This is like right when I moved into this house. And I said, he goes, I see a void. I saw what Rochelle was doing. He goes, I could have called it a mile away. He goes, I'm just getting started on the transaction coordination side. I find that that's the thing that gets me the most pumped. Can I help? And I go, can you help, bro? Like I will push files to you. I will make you the most popular person in the community. He's like, I don't want that. I go, you will become very popular. Can I rely on you? And this dude does 2 years of trainings on Saturdays to teach people the creative finance paperwork until we launched Top Tier TC. And then when that went away, sadly, I love you, Caleb, but he's like, well, I already know everything. Why would I join Top Tier TC? I don't want to diminish my value. You know, there was all that kind of stuff there. And he still rode hard and he still provides so much freaking value to the community. So shout out to Caleb. You filled a massive void in this community when somebody stabbed me in the back. And the guy has shown up over and over and over, showed up for you. And he shows up for hundreds of people all the time. I was texting the other morning at 1:00 in the morning. We are so lucky to have all these amazing people in this incredible community that like, no matter where you are, no matter what kind of transaction you're doing, there's somebody that'll get on the phone with you and help you out.
You know, just to speak on the TC side, I feel like anybody that's new to like creative, I do kind of feel like they should start with trying to TC deal. And I understand it's meant for certain personalities, but the thing is like the things you learn inside of someone's transaction,
you learn more than anything.
So huge.
So for me, when I started, I was a TC for myself. My first couple of years in the business, I was the TC. I'd go generate the lead, set up the appointment, close the deal, open escrow, go to the title company 3 times a week, sit down with Eileen Brown. I would sit in that title company 3 days a week, just working with her. I'd sit on my laptop working my leads while I'm at the title company. And I was the transaction coordinator. And I woke up one day, I was like, I learned more on running the paperwork and dealing with what's going on with all the things than I did on the front end of the lead generation and the closing. It was crazy how much more you learn about creative finance and the nitty gritty details of like, oh, there's a title lien or there's a lien on the property. We got to renegotiate this. Meanwhile, the visionaries are like, yeah, I'm off to get the next contract right now. They're not even aware of all the crap. I say the transaction starts or the deal starts not at lead, It starts at freaking open escrow. That's when the game begins. Everything else is practice. It's all practice until the freaking transaction starts. And then the transaction coordinators, and we did the math on this the first couple of years of SubTo. If you were a wholesaler without a transaction coordinator, you open 10 files, you're closing 3. You have a transaction coordinator, you're closing 7.
It's funny, that's one of my posts on Facebook about being a TC.
It's crazy. It is the most important role in all of real estate, and I think it's underserved, meaning that there's more space for people. The problem is there's a lot of visionaries that are doing their TC work themselves. You know, it's like the guys that change their oil themselves, they think that that's a valuable thing for them to spend their time on. They're also doing what I did, which was, well, I don't want to spend the money. It's like, well, have your buyer pay it, or dude, go get another transaction with the time you'd be saving. Are you freaking kidding me? So Caleb helps you out, you get into TC work, and you find that this is like your...
I like learning. That's the big thing for me. I love to learn.
Did you feel like you were a drug dealer when you're like TCing? Meaning...
I felt smart as shit.
Well, I know, you are smart as shit. Think about just in the last couple of years, like how your life has changed, but think about it, like when you're a drug dealer, I imagine you're wondering like, when's shipment coming in? When, like, what's going on here? Money's got to come here. I got to put money here. Like you're coordinating like crazy as even a dope dealer. Like in a lot of ways, there's a lot more technicality involved, but like you must love coordinating around. Like that must be a core component of your personality.
I moved a bunch of money around. And what is it? And again, this is why a lot of people were very surprised when they heard what happened, was because I'm very big on managing risk. Like what happened to me there, every red flag that I saw, I threw out the window.
Oh yeah. So you start with Caleb. You're with Caleb for 1.5 years. You're making money in TC work. You learn everything about SubTo, seller finance, novation agreements, Morby methods, lease options, everything you can imagine. When did you decide to go on your own?
So it was actually when I joined the mastermind. So it was the last mastermind that you were throwing. So, you know, I joined, I was on my hot seat.
Bro. That was a good one.
So I was on the hot seat, and I'm glad I did, because I don't think I would have made the decision to kind of maneuver or pivot differently if it wasn't for that. So
what's a hot seat for people that don't know?
So it's pretty much where, you know, they ask you what you're trying to do and they grill the shit out of you. And that what it kind of came down to was I was trying to make more money, but then at the same time, it was kind of the thing of like, you actually came in for a second.
Was Caroline running it, or who was running it?
Carolyn Briley and Caroline Kane was there.
Ingrid?
Dom Milanazzo.
Oh, freaking love Dom.
Dylan Eggers was in there too. I think those were the 4 people that were kind of grilling me. But what it kind of came down to was, after speaking about everything, what Carolyn and Caroline were talking about was, we think you need to go do your own thing. That might be where you've already helped someone grow their company.
This is 2022.
2022.
I just saw Carolyn yesterday, hung out with her for like 1.5 hours.
Yeah. Oh, and when you're in Dallas.
Mm-hmm. For people that are watching, they have no idea. Like people, it's interesting, like even when you were thinking about joining SubTo, you're like, am I being scammed? Here you are, fast forwarding 3 years later. You and I name a city, you can name 15 people that could help you. I name a city, like I ask people now that are not in the SubTo community, they go, I'm struggling. I go, what city are you in? Not because I care what city they're in, because I'm thinking, I'm just gonna give you the person that's in our community that will actually be able to help you instead of a stupid book or a stupid video. Like, we are just a freaking group of gangsters. Like, and here I am hanging out with Carolyn Briley yesterday, 3 years after she told you just got to go do your own thing, Mike. Like, it's amazing how connected we are, and how you're, even from the moment of when you joined SubTo to working with Caleb to then going to the mastermind. We called that one the lastermind because it was the last one. You go to the lastermind, Carolyn is in the room grilling you, and now you're off on your own. You're doing big things. You're now expanding and doing all sorts of crazy shit. And then I'm hanging out with Carolyn 3 years later in Dallas, and she's just like, what are you doing tomorrow? I go, I'm doing this, this, and this. I'm going to be hanging out with Michael Kim. And she goes, I love him.
You know what's funny is their Carolyn and Myron, their file was one of the first files I worked. Like in I think it was like May of 2020 or no, I think it was like May 2022. They're probably the first people Caleb threw at me. Here, do this. So yeah.
So what do you want to do now? You've done just about any type of file you can imagine.
You know, the big thing for me is I love to figure out problems. When it comes to like the creative real estate stuff, I like to, like I was saying, like I like to learn. And when you have like some of the shittiest deals hit your table and you get to go through and unravel and pick through the shit and start pivoting and moving things around, or even trying to negotiate with an agent who's trying to make too much money, it's fun. Because now to me, it's a game, right? Like, how can we make this work, or can we make it work? So what do we need to do to actually get this done?
I think out of everything that I've heard here, and I'm the audience member, I'm sitting here thinking, so you're not cold calling and you're making money?
Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to highlight to people that are watching right now, guys, like very few people in our community are actually cold calling. One, it's not a fun activity. I've cold called one time in my real estate career, one time. I love talking to people. I just love talking to people that want to talk to me. Because I could talk all day long. I could negotiate like you. I love solving problems. I'm sure Chino and other people are the same way. I'd rather have a robot do my cold calling. I'd rather have, somebody else, a virtual assistant, do my cold calling, or I'd rather just work with agents where I don't have to cold call anybody, right? Because I look at an agent and I'm like, that's warm calling, because they're already trying to sell the product. I'm not calling and saying, will you sell your product? They're already selling the product, right? It's not a cold call. So you're not cold calling anymore. You're happy with everything you're doing. You're on the phone all the time negotiating.
I would say though, what it really came down to was the people I started meeting, after the fact, right? Like I've known Chino before we started working together.
Right.
But when we went
you guys became partners at community camp, to your point.
So I met when I was late, right? Because my flight and all that stuff. But he was the first person I saw in the corner. And of course I went up to him because we've had conversations before.
Hey, the YouTube team, put B-roll of 2023 community camp over this, because I want to point something out. This is interesting how your guys' brothership started. My whole team told me not to do community camp 2023.
I probably would have never met him, but because
it cost me $300,000 out of my pocket.
Shit.
It's expensive to run those events. So I go, how much did community camp, did I charge a ticket?
No, it was free.
But what did I do? Here's what I did. I said, here's how this is going to benefit everybody in the community. I'm going to bring and invite the most go-giver people in our community that are helping other people. And imagine what will happen if they all converge in Montana. I don't know what's going to happen, right? Rhea Campbell was also there. She went off and made like $1.5 million with 2 people she met there. Like I could go off and talk about stories about 2023 community camp, but you guys became partners there, even though you showed up late because you fell asleep or whatever, missed your flight. My whole team told me not to do that. And I fought and I said, fine, I'll do it on my own. And I literally went and hired an outside employee for 2 months. And she ended up admitting herself. Do you remember this, Eric? She went and admitted herself to a mental hospital and she quit.
So that's what I was curious what happened.
I had to fire her over voice memo. So anyway, that's what it took to make sure that you guys became partners.
Someone gave up their sanity.
Somebody gave up their temporary sanity for you guys, which is awesome, right? And it was also, Eric was newer into my world. He had just started hanging out with me. Eric had been with me for 1.5 years, but it was like, you're hanging out with other community members that have now hired Eric and people know him. It was like the event. Why did I not do it this year? Well, number one, Owners Club is also like the event in a lot of ways. But I'm working on something in the back of my mind that's only for Owners Club, but like the highest level Owners Club, a free event that is just like, I can't believe we're sitting here right now type of thing. You don't want Kanye West dropping the same album over and over and over. You don't want, Dr. Dre dropping the same album over and over and over. You want new albums with new songs that you've never heard before. So sadly, community camp it's retired. It's done. Anyway, you meet Chino at community camp.
Well, that's how I met Tiger too, because Chino and Tiger were friends and they actually went together. So that's when I met Chino for the first time. We hung out. We pretty much that whole community camp. It was me, Chino, Tiger, and I think it was Brian Garcia too, right?
Yeah.
And we hung out that whole, the next few days from there until everybody needed to leave. And we didn't work together immediately. It was just, they started inviting me to the Zooms and I wouldn't show up and they would just tell me like, come to the Zoom. So then I started just coming to the Zooms. I'm
That's
like,
some good bros right there.
well, I'm like, what do you guys want? You know, like, what are you trying to do? And they're just, hey, like, they're doing their thing because they're building a team. They have people that are cold calling for them. They're doing like you used to do like that cold call assassin thing where it's like, you don't know who you're calling or what you're calling about. You don't know the property. Like, you're just going to call. Like, I'm like, damn, that's messed up. Like, why would you do that to people? Like,
that's so good.
Like for me, like I need to know and prepare. I'm not built like that. I just need to know what I'm getting myself into before I get into it. He's just throwing people, in the fire.
So good.
So, but that's how I ended up. Like, I mean, eventually,
it sounds like you were like trying to avoid them.
Well, I'm just in my own world. Like, I'm like, all right, how am I going to make more money and all this other stuff? And this is kind of where it really kind of shifted gears, right? Is when I started meeting other people like Chino and Tiger. I've been working with them ever since, right? But they also always...
That was over 2 years ago.
Yeah, we called it our friendiversary. It was July 27th was the community camp.
I want to point out to people that have like joined mentorships or courses, like this is the biggest difference. Like once you're in SubTo, good luck getting out. Like you got to be an asshole to get out.
Yeah.
You got to be a jerk. You got to do something wrong to people. Like there's even people that were like, we all kind of just forgive because we love them. They're like the brother that's a little bit mean, because they can't help it. Like we have a couple of those people. Chino, you point at Chino. But like you're not getting out, not because we don't let you leave, but like why would you? We just do life together, right? Like our wives inspire each other's wives. Our kids watch each other's kids. We all, as brothers and sisters, like I'm on Instagram Live today over at that house today, and Ella Ray goes, those are all my boys. It's like your sister is watching, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like, guys, anybody in real estate, and I'm not saying this because I'm the leader of SubTo, I'm a contributing member of SubTo. This is not my community, this is our community. I can tell you, Michael has contributed in ways that I physically can never do. Chino, Tiger, Ella Ray, Rob Harden, all of these incredible people that we've mentioned today, Carolyn Briley, they joined in 2021. These people, Myron, shout out to Myron Briley, all, by the way, they're all in different cities. And I could go on and on and on and on and on. They've all contributed to this community in a way that I physically could never. And so how dare I look at this as like, oh, this is mine. No, it was never mine. I'm lucky to participate in it. It's just so fun for you to spit out these names and be like, oh yeah, our friendiversary over a free event. So dope.
Well, like the people you end up working with and you actually end up vibing with, they help kind of restructure, pivot your mind, right? Like Chino always gives me because he's like, you should be making more money. But the thing with, Chino and Tiger is like, they're not just telling me, they're trying to help me actually do what they're criticizing me not doing. Right. And that could be like, hey, I got the deal here. You take it over. And, if you get it to here, then we'll pay, you'll get a bigger cut of, our JV.
Right.
So that's where like I really, because again, like, when you give some people an inch, they take it a mile. And that's what was happening was I'm trying to be a go-giver, but I was also being taken advantage of because I'm trying to be all great and friendly and all this stuff.
Well, I think that's the downfall to our community that you have to remind yourself to do. You have to have upfront conversations because people are like, well, Pace is giving and this is person's giving and this is just standard.
I would say not even just the community, but like outside.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. There are some people that just won't question anything. Like I've TC deals where I've charged like $5,000. They don't question it. And I'll go and explain. I'm like, look, I'm doing this, and that. And I always hear like, well, this person that said they could do it for this, go for it. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here. I know who that person is. They're great. If you want to work with them, cool. But this is what my time is worth.
Yeah.
But again, like, I don't know if I would have ever really, it would have gotten there fast enough if it wasn't for the people that I work with now.
You wouldn't have.
No. And the thing is, like, with Chino, Tiger, Abe's not here. They all give me because, like, I should be making more with other things that I'm doing, but like even Rob Harden, like what they do is they involve me in the deals. Like, what is it? Me and Rob have a bunch of deals that just went completely sideways, right? But I'm more willing to make sure that we can try and get to the finish line. Like the land deal, there's a bunch of attorneys involved in it. Rob trusts me. He's like, we need you on this. Can you take care of it? We have another deal out in Washington.
I got the craziest deal. I need you to TC for me right now.
Okay.
The craziest deal. That is I'm not exaggerating when I say this. This sounds like I'm lying. It's a potential $20 million profit over a title dispute.
A title dispute? What's
Yeah.
the title dispute?
There's a company that BlackRock pays rent to in a big building. They thought they owned the parking lot next door, but it turns out one of our SubTo members owns the parking lot. And he put a chain link fence around it and was like, you're not allowed to have your employees park here. It turned into this big old fight. Like, we're going to sue you. We're going to come after you. He's like, okay. And he's an immigrant and he's scared. And I push on him. I go, you do not back down. You tell them to give you a settlement. He bought the house SubTo and seller. It was a hybrid deal. He buys it for like $400,000. They just offered him right now $2.5 million for it just so they could get the parking lot. I was like, do not take it. Do not take it. And he's like, well, they're sending me proof that something from the 1991 such and such says that they own the thing. And I'm like, dude, it's changed hands 15 times since that. None of that matters. We need to get you a badass TC and we need to get a great attorney. Matt Sorensen, my attorney, I'm going to get him involved. And I go, we should push for like 10 to 15 million. He goes, I think they made a comment and they were on a phone call when I was talking to them that they said, we might have to pay this guy $100 million.
This is for one parking spot?
A parking spot.
Like one car.
Here's what's going on. They are putting lien after lien after lien after lien on this building for some reason and borrowing hundreds of millions of dollars against a building that's only worth like 20 million. There's some nefarious stuff going on this building. And they do not want to lose some sort of part of the property because of some liens that they've taken loans on. And they feel like this whole entire scheme they have going on is going to fall apart if this kid, I'm like, bro, you better not go home tonight.
What state?
It's in Washington, D.C., bro. Like, this is like political craziness. I go, if you go home, they're going to put a freaking silencer right on your head through a pillow and pop your freaking head. Do not go home, dog. Like, let's get this figured out. I think it's a $20 million deal. He says, I'll partner with you on it if you can help me figure it out. And I go, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get my attorney, Matt Sorensen, involved, and I'm going to go find a TC that's not on my team because my team's busy. This is you, dude, all day long.
Bro, I'd love to do something like that.
It's gangster. It's a gangster deal. He's like, I bought this deal SubTo, seller financing. I was going to make a couple $100,000 in 3 years. They've already offered me $2.5 million. In less than 3 months, I've made $2 million. They're serious about it. Anyway, I'm going to get you involved. But we're going to partner on it. We're not going to do a TC fee for $5,000. We're going to be like, we want 10% of whatever the sales price is.
You know, this was...
They sell for 10 mil. You and I split a mil.
Oh, shit, I'd be happy, man.
Okay.
You know, I don't know if you remember, if you knew this. There's one time that I worked on, you were lending money. This is the most anxiety I ever had. You lent money and it was unsecured and we're paying some stuff off to stop a foreclosure from happening.
Oh, what was the deal? I do this stuff for students all the time where I'm like doing favors for people.
You got those shoes from it.
Did I get paid back?
You got paid back.
Okay.
It was with Ingrid and Ray.
Yeah, Ray's awesome.
Yeah, the what is it? It was in Vegas.
Yeah, Ray's great.
when I was working on it, and then I found out where some of the money came from, the anxiety hit me. So
Oh, really?
I was like, dude, I can't mess up.
Oh my gosh, I remember this. Ingrid calls me up. She goes, we have a SubTo member. Actually, she calls me up and she says, there's this guy named Ray. He's in Ryan Pineda's mentorship, but he can't get the answer he needs because they like talk about creative finance, but don't actually teach creative finance.
I still talk to Ray every once in a while.
Too. He's awesome. I've seen him at a couple of meetups. We hung out one time with him at one of the things. And so he's like, I need real help. And so he reaches out to Ingrid, and Ingrid's like, hey, will you help me with this guy? I go, if he's not in SubTo, I'm not wasting my time. Like, I'm sorry. I don't make that money. They pay New Reach. I'm not making that money. I just want to hang out with who I want to hang out with. And so he joined SubTo just so he could borrow the money. And I did it unsecured. It was like, I don't know what it was, a couple $100,000 or something.
Oh no, it was under 100, but it was enough to give me anxiety.
Yeah, and so it was a foreclosure deal.
It was a foreclosure.
And this deal ended up being a good deal. Ingrid made like $40,000 or something good on it.
I don't remember what she made, but I think this is funny. It was actually at the mastermind, but the buyer told her, I wouldn't have bought this if it wasn't for him. She was like, what do you mean? And he was like, he made this deal work. I was ready to walk away.
You.
Yeah. And we've already paid the foreclosure stuff and all that stuff. Like,
I didn't know that.
So if he didn't buy it, it would have been a super huge entry fee for somebody. And he was ready. He had the money. He was ready for it. So he kind of understood that he was like, you know, in his eyes, he was overpaying.
I forgot about that deal, dude.
That was the first time I ever did anything with you there, but you not there.
Yeah. I'm involved in all those transactions, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a deal I'll do. And then I tell my team, I go, we're going to do this. And Molly's like, no, we're not. I go, yes, we are. Wire the money. And she's like, okay, just so you know, you're going to lose your money. I go, just do the thing. Let's help Ingrid. It was really like, I wanted Ingrid to get that deal. I think she split the fee, and her thing was like $40,000.
I don't remember. This was like,
I don't know what I made, but I might have made $10,000.
I think you asked for nothing. That was the thing. You asked for nothing, but Ingrid wanted to make sure you got something. But I think you told her like, hey, just to help you guys out, I don't want anything back. Just get my money back.
What I wanted him to do, I was kind of a dick. I said, I want you to admit that you f***ed up and you should have joined SubTo. That's what I told him. I said, you, like, I don't know what it is with you guys. Like, you're trying to learn creative finance. There's nobody in the country that knows anything about creative finance compared to our collective community. Think about, like, is there stuff that I don't know about creative finance that somebody in our community does? There has to be something.
I don't know.
Well, think about it. Individual state laws, right? Legislation that I haven't encountered. Is that a thing? Hell yeah. So like you have hyper-localized, geographically genius-based people all over the entire country. And I'm like, you joined a guy that doesn't teach creative finance? He was just trying to get your money. Like, if you can admit you f***ed up and you joined SubTo, I'll lend the money for free. I want nothing except for you admitting you f***ed up. He goes, all right, I f***ed up. And I didn't take a fee. I remember this now.
Yeah,
Ray's a super cool guy. I love Ray. And Ray's done a lot of deals with people in the community. He's awesome.
He has, yeah. He's all over the place.
He's a crazy little guy, but he's a cool guy.
But yeah.
So what do you want to do more of? You want to make more money on your files? You want to do more transaction engineering? You want to buy more properties? What do you want to do more?
I like doing everything that I'm doing now, but you know, and a lot of people ask like, what do you do? And I have my hands in a lot of everything.
Yeah, you're like Elon Musk of transactions.
So
you're doing multiple different things. Yeah.
Well, and I listen too, right? Like, so like as of right now, I have a few bad flips with partners, right? And the funny thing is, like before we even bought the flips, I'm like, dude, Pace said in January, do not buy in this area. And then they're like, no, Mark, it's still hot. Then what is it? It was funny because then Bigger Pockets came out with an article like 2 months later, like, hey, this state is gonna have a correction, right? And then it was like, hey, we already bought one, let's not buy no more. We ended up buying a few. Yeah. And what is it? They didn't go very well, right? But like my big thing is like I pay attention. Like it seems like for a lot of people, they get busy with life, They have their W-2s. They're not listening to like what's going on. Like, and I feel like, and I don't know if people feel differently, they can call me out on it, but I feel like I understand what's going on now. Like, I don't have exact numbers and certain things, but like Chino's been on a lot of my phone calls with his team. Like, he's busy doing other stuff. And like, I talked to some of, what is it? They're the callers, the ones that are actually the acquisition team, right? And I sit there and I'm like, look, don't bite on it. The agent's bull. I'm talking about agents a lot because that's what we're really kind of honed in on right now is DTA. But I'm like, it's not going to work. And I'm like, give it time. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, just give it time. Like, we know what's going on in the market right now. It's not a seller's market. Like, people are getting beat up on price. Like, let's look at the price history. Look, they've already dropped it for like, it's been 6 months. They've dropped price multiple times. Is it in foreclosure? No. Well, do they have any pain? Yeah. I mean, they're trying to, move or whatever is going on, divorce or whatever. And then I'm like, no, maybe I'm going to almost guarantee no one's going to buy this deal. Why? Because it doesn't cash flow. But, with how Chino, Tiger, the team kind of structure deals and how they execute, they can still make it cash flow. But we're not going to overpay for something that not a lot of people are going to buy. And it's funny because then he comes back the next day and he's like, Mike, I told her, explained everything, ran numbers with her, let her know like, hey, with these numbers, we're not interested. We'll follow back up with you in a month. And then instantly, she dropped her, this one I'm going to talk about is from she dropped her fee from 40 grand to 20. And I already told them beforehand, I was like, we're not going to be able to pay a lot. She's asking for too much. Again, it's a non-cash flowing deal. She went from 40 to 30 to 20 to 10 to 8 to 6. And then at a certain point, she was just like,
take the house.
Just take the house. Yeah. So like, when you ask me like what I want, I like doing everything. I like, coaching people on how to call. I like, I don't like cold calling, but I'll take a warm lead.
Yeah.
I like negotiating.
I think the problem with cold calling is not that you're afraid to do it or it makes you nervous or what have you. It's just like, how much your time is worth. So why would I spend all my time not talking to somebody? Which is essentially what cold calling is. It's like I'm spending a lot of time making calls and not actually connecting with people. And then when you do, it's like, I don't want to talk to you. You're like, give me somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. And so there's just better ways to do cold calling other than doing it yourself.
But even with that though, this is why Chino always calls me, what is it? An integrator. He always calls me an integrator. And I don't like, I'm not saying I'm not. I probably have more integrator tendencies than like visionary. But like, I also love I like to figure things out, right? When an escrow officer or closing attorney is like, no, you can't do that. I'm like, why? So what if I end up finding some stuff or figuring some stuff out? Are you open? Yeah, 100%. Like, I like that stuff too. I like looking at legal paperwork. I like the whole, like, what is it?
You definitely are not describing a visionary's thought process right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
A visionary's like, yeah, paperwork? No, I'll have Michael Kim look at it.
Well, and the thing is, like, when I look at certain paperwork, I also use it to negotiate too. This is where I'm very big about knowing stuff. Cause like, what is it? With one of the deals that I was working on, the attorney, for some reason, believed that if their client's property went to a tax auction, right? That if someone came in and bought it at auction, her clients would get paid. And I'm like, no, you're 100% wrong. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, tax lien is going to be superior lien anyways, and it's free and clear. So if the other party just refuses to pay and your clients don't pay, guess what happens? It's going to go to auction. Whatever it sells for, it's going to wipe everything else out. You're not going to get paid. And she was like, yeah, I don't think that's true. So, and I know this is true. So what I did was I went and looked up the state statutes and I laid everything down. I put in like the whole section, I copy and pasted, and I broke it down in my own verbiage. I'm like, hey, I understand you're at what you're at, but I found these state statutes about what I was talking about, and here's my evidence, here's my proof. I'm not lying to you. That pretty much made it to where she forwarded the information to her clients, and I've never spoken to her clients, and we've been working on this for a while. They called me. Hey, our attorney, we are just figuring out that she wasn't telling us everything. That email scared them because they're like, they're not going to get anything. So they reached out to me and they're like, so we'll move forward. Like with this deal, I ended up negotiating off a huge discount. Like I don't want to say how much because we're still in the middle of it. And
that's not a transaction coordination job, just FYI.
It's not. No, it's not.
Just FYI. So when you guys are reaching out to Michael, how can people reach out to you?
Instagram, or I would say I'm working on my website right now because I told you I'm rebranding myself, but my new website, it's under construction. It's called onepartnership.com. So it's won, like, the Korean money won. So wonpartnership.com or Instagram.
Okay, and your Instagram is what?
Michael_creative REI.
Okay, and we'll put that in the link in the description. The main thing people should reach out to you for is transaction coordination, helping you get transactions across the finish line. That's a separate fee, separate thing. Helping you structure maybe. Another one would be negotiating liens. If I close a deal for you and then we go open escrow, it's not my job as a TC to negotiate some lien down. That's a completely separate fee. Would you agree with that?
I don't think it's even escrow or the closing attorney's job to do anything
Hell
like
no.
that. It's your
actually,
job.
It's usually the closer, the person who originally closed the deal. Like the person who owns the contract is the person that does all that.
Yeah. Now, what is it? I think in our top tier group, I think Sean Clemenson came on and explained, like, I am an attorney. I run a title company. It's not my job to negotiate down your liens for you.
Yeah, Sean's great. We like Sean Clemenson. Shout out to Sean Clemenson. I got to have him come into SubTo a little bit more. Bro, we've been hanging out for 2 hours on this podcast. Did you know that? The average podcast of Get Creative is 45 minutes. You and I went 2 hours. And I feel like I have a lot of your story we still haven't talked about. People reach out to you, Michael_creative REI on Instagram. They can hire you for all of those types of things. Are you guys buying deals?
Me personally, not right now.
Unless you're JVing with somebody that you're already friends with, like a Chino or a Tiger.
100%. Or Rob Harden, he's buying out in Oregon. But I am starting to, and I need to build my my buy box for this. But I am looking for smaller multifamily that I can do Morbies on.
In what market? Anywhere?
Oregon right now.
You know that you live in a socialist country over there, right?
100% understand. But the big thing is I have Oregon and Nevada. I have Chino, Nevada. But the reason I'm also choosing Oregon, not only because I live there, but Rob Harden's already agreed to partner on these deals with me.
I love it.
And yeah, so
guys, reach out to Michael Kim on Instagram, Michael_creative REI, and your YouTube or your Instagram is, or your webpage is what?
Onepartnership.com, and it's one as WON.
Onepartnership.com. Thank you guys for hanging out with us for 2 hours. If you guys want to see more of Michael Kim's story, make a comment down below and reach out to this boy and tell him he did a great job. My favorite part about this story is that anyone from anywhere can restart their life. And dude, you feel probably like the smartest person you've ever met, coming from your like social background of all your friends. Like, you are by far the guy that knows more about real estate, more about finances than anyone else. That's not to demean the guys that you used to hang out with. It's just amazing that the path you took has compounded in what you're currently doing. I'm super excited for you and proud of you, man.
Thank you.
You're the man. Guys, we'll see you in another episode of